2 hours of electronics this morning here on HSN Today. And we're moving on. Well, a lot of you are still on the phone for the boombox that we just featured for you. And that lets us know that you are music lovers. But that didn't just start. You probably fell in love with music with your vinyl records. Sometimes I'll say, remember those? But for some of us, we still have them around. They're everywhere. And for a lot of us, that's how we think music really should be played and reminisced to. So what we have right here is a new item, and it's the only time that it's going to be on today. I also want to let you know, right now you've got 4 Flex. After our show, which means at the end of 9 a.m. this morning, Eastern, that fourth Flex will go away. So I just want you to know that. What you're going to get, and you can see it right here, it's the Ion Profile Flash vinyl to whether it's SD or USB turntable. But actually what that means is you can take your vinyl and other things, we'll explain that, and convert that music into a digital file that you can then put on your MP3, you can put it on your computer, you can do whatever you want to do with it. So we're going to show you how easy this is to use, but it's 120-595. We're going to bring in Jim Hunter, who's another music lover,
yes,
who's joining us this morning. Jim and I were talking, and I was like, this is the coolest thing.
It really is. It is. You know, it's old school meets new school becomes very cool. It really does.
Love it.
It takes the old vinyl that we've, a lot of people love and still embrace every day. And, right now, a lot of people are going through spring cleaning, and especially here in Florida, and they're going through their garages and their basements and their attics, and they run across that proverbial box of vinyl records that they go, boy, I remember when I used to listen to that music, or, boy, that album there, that was a #1 best-selling hit of all time, Michael Jackson's Thriller.
Yeah.
I wish I had that on MP3 format. Now you can. Yeah. This right here will do it all for you without a computer. I love the fact that this really brings all the technology of old and new together, simplifies the whole process. Of course, we have a turntable here, very, very recognizable, right? And what's great about it, it does all the things that a classic turntable will do and then some. But I want to show you the thing that really blows you away when you see this product is right here we have an electronic display that tells you what's going on. And I'm playing a music right now, and I'm going to go ahead and turn up the little music volume right here so we can hear this music playing. Yeah. I have the speakers over here plugged into the turntable, and right now I have a thumb drive built in. Now I take my own personal thumb drive, or you take your own personal SD memory card, and that's what the music's going to be recorded to. So once I plug this in, it's just like working a cassette player. It's so simple. I hit the play button, and then I hit the record button. Yeah. And what it's going to do now is it's going to set it up, and I'm going to hit the record button one more time, and now it's going to start recording here, okay? There you go. So I'm recording the music, and it's actually playing. You see the little scale bumping up and down?
Yes.
That means it's recording to the device. You can see it flashing right here on the USB thumb drive.
Yeah.
So anything I have as far as LP, a 45, whatever I have, I can play that music, enjoy it, and then convert it to an MP3 format. And that's when it gets really cool, because now I can start doing things with this MP3 format. I'm going to end the song, and I'm just going to turn it off. I'm just going to hit the stop button here. I'm going to end the recording right here. And it's just like a cassette player. It's very, very simple, okay? So if you're familiar with that, so simple, easy to use. I'm going to take my thumb drive now, and I'm going to pull it out. And what I've done now is taken music from here and convert it to my thumb drive. I have a boombox right here that we just saw earlier.
We just had.
Okay? I'm going to plug it into the USB thumb drive right here. And what's going to be really cool about this is now I can take my music and enjoy it anywhere I go. I can enjoy that music. I can put it on my tablets. I can put it on my MP3 players. I can put it in the boombox. If I have a TV that has a thumb drive or an SD card reader, I can play that music back. And, it doesn't stop there, though.
Right.
What's cool about that is that I can play all that music on my media formats. I can also, what's cool about this is you notice right in front, there's an input jack right here. Okay, so that little input jack, that allows me to take any device that has a headset jack, like an earbud jack, and record that content and put it onto MP3 format through this device here, which means, let's say I'm listening to the radio and I hear a sermon or a speaker and I go, boy, this is so good. I can plug my little MP3 player in, plug it into the Ion. It'll record that content and convert it to an MP3 format right onto the SD card or USB, and then I can start doing so many cool things with it from there.
So you can take your vinyl, but you can also take whatever it is, other things that you're listening to, as long as you can plug them into the back. And this cord here, you probably have one around the house, couple dollars, and you can add that on. And it allows you to now have what you want, the music you like to listen to, the spoken word you like to listen to, the comedy acts that you like to listen to that maybe you can't find on record or even on digital, and now you can have it digitally saved as an MP3. I just want you to really understand this is the coolest thing because now you don't have to buy the music twice. You mentioned the #1 selling album, Michael Jackson's album. We had it. We had 2 of them in my family. But then we had to buy the music all over again on digital because it was only on vinyl. But now you take those records, you put them here, you let the record play, plug it in, and that is the way that you can convert that music. Again, I want to remind you because we've got more to share with you, but the 4 Flex is only until 9 a.m. this morning, Eastern Time, and then you lose that 4th Flex. I want to make sure that you get this, and just so that you know, you get everything that you need, including this can play 45s and 33s. There's a little insert so that you can play your 45s. You've got your on and off, very easy. You've got your plug-in, and you have your audio input and line out. It is that simple.
It is so simple. And what's great about this, I can give you case in point. I have my smartphone here. And let's say I recorded something I heard, a spoken word or a lecture I'm at. Or in this case, I have some music, and I got music playing right here. Okay, so music's playing, and I can plug this directly into the Ion, now, which I am now, and I can hit the record button and record this music directly onto this SD memory card. So if you have an old reel-to-reel, you have a radio, you have cassette player, any old vinyl, any format, anything that has a headset jack, basically. You can re-record that and put it in MP3 format. It makes it so simple. So it's not just vinyl. Now, don't get me wrong. This is a great vinyl or a great record player. And let me show you how that works real quick here in my music here because we're techno jamming in the background here. It's so simple. Of course, this is a record player, right? It has what we call, it has the high-end features that a lot of record players that used to have today. And what's great about this is you just lift the needle up, you lower it, okay? It starts playing music. It has shock absorbers built into it. So watch this right here. So if the bass gets really high, the record's not going to skip. That's great, okay? Also, what I love about it is it has a built-in preamp. If you remember back in the day when you had record players, you had another box next to it was called a preamp. That preamp amplified the little signal coming off the record, or the needle, okay? Preamp is built into this device. So you don't have to spend an extra $100, $200 to get the music high enough. And I also want to show you something else real quick here. So we walk over to my back view here.
Okay.
You see these right here? This is an RCA jack right here, okay? Now, this RCA jack means you hook this up to any surround sound system, anything that has audio in, basically the right and the left channel. You can hook this up to your existing surround sound at your house and play all the music back from your LPs, your vinyl, on your current surround sound system. So if you're an audiophile, you wouldn't be caught dead without one of these, okay? And this is kind of like digital recycling, okay? It's taking that old vinyl, the old content that's decaying, falling apart because it does with age, and now you're converting it to digital, and now you're preserving it for humanity's sake, if you will. You can use it for all your family members.
And think
you
about
can convert it on all your digital formats.
That's right, and you're bringing back all of those memories because you've got records for songs you haven't heard in years. Think about it. You probably have records for songs that were playing on the radio, you know, the night the big football team won, you know, the big game. Don't you remember that? And you have the song that was played, but it's on record. And you know where the record is. You can see it. It's probably in a box in a corner somewhere, getting dusty. Instead of, and you've been holding on to it. And you kind of probably have been asking yourself, why have I been holding on to this? Everything is digital. There's no way that I can play it. There's no way that I can transfer it. This is now that way, and it's very simple to do. So as you're transferring it, you're going to start to bring back all of those memories the minute the needle hits the record. The minute you hear that first beat, you're going to remember. Also, I just want you to know, we don't have a lot of these. This is our only presentation for the day. We have fewer than 550 of them total. But if you're looking at this and you're saying, you know what, I do have a whole box or boxes or half an attic or half a garage full of old records that you still love and you don't want to get rid of, think about what's in there. You know, there are some records that were produced, sometimes they'll put older music now in digital format. But a lot of music that was made in the 60s and the 50s and the 40s and even the 70s.
The 80s, actually. They stopped making vinyl records about the 80s. Well, actually, they still make them, though.
Right, but a lot of that music, they haven't converted to digital.
You're right.
So the only way that you can convert it to digital is with this.
It's like a treasure chest of content you can't find. There's a lot of like comedians, a lot of spoken word, a lot of records never made it to the digital format. And, you know, still, believe it or not, there's about 3 million records produced every day. every year, excuse me.
Wow.
Every year, 3 million new records are made because people like the organic sound of records. It just gives you a different feel. It gives you a warmer feel. And think about this. When you grab those old records that you have laying around your basement, in your attic, wherever it may be, and you put it on the Ion and you start listening, what it's going to make you do is skate back to the time where you used to listen to those records. Now that reminisces to maybe some older folk like myself. But you know what's interesting? My son, who's 21 years old, who really loves this type of music because he's got into those rock band video concert things where they play music. They're listening to 80s, the 70s, and my son's 21 years old, and he says, this is some of the best music I've ever heard.
It is.
So there's a new movement back to that old music because it was so good. Well, sometimes you can't get it. In other cases, you already have it, and now you can recycle. And think about this. If you have about 10 albums, and you go through this process right here, this product is paid for itself because each song's usually $1 a pop
That's
on
right.
a download.
And sometimes we don't even really think about it like that, but when you break it down, think about how much even money that you've spent on downloading music over the last year. It's probably because you only do it $1 at a time, you're thinking, well, it's not a big deal. I'll just do it $1 at a time. Those dollars add up. You have to pay taxes, the whole 9 yards, and then it's not even all of the music that you want. Do you remember, Jim, I know you remember, when every song on the album was good?
Oh, that's right.
You know, every one. You could just let the record play and just sit back and listen to every cut, and they were good. You know what? That music is still there. It's just trapped. It's trapped in
on
vinyl. Your record.
And here's another good thing. You know, you convert your vinyl record that does all that. And again, there's so many things. You play your music, whether it's in your home stereo, you can convert it to disc. Okay, now watch this here.
Oh, wait, let me interrupt you real quick.
Sir.
Fewer than 500 of these now remaining, so don't miss out on yours.
This is very popular. Now watch this here. You can also make this a very large player. Let's turn that speaker back up here real quick.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, so we can actually play our music right from here back. So this becomes a player. So I'm playing the music from this SD card through the Ion to some speakers. So it's also a player as well. So if you have a thumb drive, you have an SD card, you can play it back all from here. So let's walk through it again real quick. How simple is this? Okay, I'm going to go ahead and stop that music playing. Okay,
and I just turn the
hit
speaker
stop,
down.
just like a cassette player. It's very simple to use. Okay, I'm going to lift the arm. Okay, I'm going to move the arm over, just like old style records work. Now, what's great about it is it does the auto lowering. I just lower that. It goes onto the record.
So you don't scratch your record.
So right now, I just hit the record button, okay? And now I can start recording this content. And now, if you want to put the music back on, okay, now what we're doing is we're playing the record. It's recording to the SD memory card. I can take this SD memory card now. I can plug it into my smartphone. I can plug it into my computer. I can plug it into my television. I have a tablet. All that music that's collecting digital dust, now I can convert into a digital format and play around with it, sample it, make a ringtones out of it, whatever I want to do with it.
Well, that's right. You can do that. You can even now, because you can take that card and put it in your computer, you can even share it with your friends. I mean, so this is something that you can do, and really, I like that it's something fun that brings back that nostalgia, but it's also something very useful for all of us. And it's not just records, like you said, anything that has like that that jack. So your cassette tapes, think about how many cassette tapes we bought in the 80s and 90s. Your reel-to-reel. Think about, you might have the voice of a relative that's long past. You might have that person's voice telling a story or saying something funny on a reel-to-reel. If you can hook that up, you can record that voice on this digitally. So you can really preserve all of those memories in a way that you never thought you could. You've kept them around for this long. You've kept your records for this long, not really knowing what you were going to do with them. Now you know.
That's right. Well, let's say I did a lecture on a cassette years ago, or I heard a professor do a lecture. Now I can archive that content, take it from cassette, plug my cassette into, because again, anything that has a headset jack, just a standard earbud style headset jack, I can plug this into there, plug it in the back of the Ion, and now I can play the music from my player and record it to MP3 format. So now it comes from analog to digital. Now I can preserve it and archive it forever and enjoy that content. So this is not just a vinyl record player. It's any media device you own. You can archive that content and enjoy music all the time.
You will love this. You get everything that you need. It plays 33s and 45s. All you do is add the music and go. It's 120595. You've got 4 flex, but only until 9 a.m. Eastern, so don't miss out on that. And this was Jim's only time on today. We'll see you throughout the weekend for other things, but only time today. 120595. Thanks, Jim.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
And thank you to all of you also who are